I haven't had time, man. And then the weather fucking sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, right, I'll tell you that.
Let me silence my phone.
Yeah. No, I know. I flipped my phone over and shut that bad boy down. Get her ready. Can you hear my printer in the background?
Nope. Do you hear my heater?
No.
I could hear it when I got close.
Yeah.
Or I could hear it humming a little bit, so I turned my gain down.
Nice. No, I mean, it's funny. I didn't realize how loud 3D printers were until I had one. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, it's going right now in the other room?
Yeah, you can't. I'm surprised you can't hear it.
No,
it's
I can't.
loud.
I can't hear it.
The fan on it is what's loud. Everything else is quiet.
Yeah.
But that fan just.
Have you tried turning the fan down or?
No, I just leave all the settings defaulted. It prints perfect all the time. Right, I'm not going to mess with it.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with it. Yeah. You end up like me.
All right, if I feel like if I look at it sideways, it's going to start screwing up. I don't like that.
Yeah, I finally got it figured out, man.
Yeah. Oh, good. I know that whoever's watching now is probably.
Oh, we're live?
What's going on? Oh, we've been live for a couple minutes.
What? Who's in here?
Oh, I suppose I should go over to the.
Change now. I can't tell who's in here. Oh, there's no one here. Oh, John Thomas.
John's there. Yeah.
Hello, John.
Well, I'll tell you what. It's I think it's about 8. I think we got just a couple seconds till it's 8. When it hits 8, I'll just hit that intro. Hey, Mom. My mom's here. Ah.
Uh-oh, she's hiding from me. I don't see her.
No?
No.
You don't see her under John?
Nope.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh, there she goes. Yeah. Oh, you know why? My cursor was in the spot where her name popped up and it said show.
Show. All right, cool. Well.
Hello, Jamie's mom.
Hey, the Wayne in the house. Hey, let's hit that intro. Oh, it's not full screen. What?
Oh, we've been robbed.
How about this?
There you go. Ding, ding, ding.
There. How about that?
There we go.
Try to do something different and it just totally falls apart. We'll get that figured out for the next show for sure.
Hey, man. Baby steps.
Baby steps. All right, so let's do this. So we got John. We got my mom. For those who don't know, that's Deborah Corona in there. We got Dwayne. Got my sweetheart Shelly in there. We got Donna in here tonight.
Oh, Donna.
The house is getting packed. So it's funny because like I shared in a couple of different places on social media that I was going to be talking about what we're going to give away. And I kind of hinted at it like majorly in this week's title for the show.
Right.
If anybody looks closely,
messages,
super subliminal. Like I actually showed what we were giving in it and I spelled it out in text. So if anybody paid attention, anybody knows anything about, camera history and stuff like that, they'd know exactly what I'm doing here. But yeah, so that's the topic for this week's show. So should I do it now? Should I just show what we're going to give away now? One of the things?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right. So let me reach over here. I added to it. I added something else. Here it is right here. Can you guys see it? Right there. All right. So actually I added something to it right before the show started. So this is what I'm going to give away. It is the Olympus Penton Ep5. Now this is old. This is like an OG pen. But with that being said, this is probably outside of all of the outside of the Pen F. This is probably the best pen I think that was made. I know that the newer pens probably had different features, newer tech, what have you. But I'm one of those people that swears that it's either the processor used with this or it's something in the sensor. The files on this, I love. The files come out. They have a look. It's funny, you hear that with, people who own Leica. They're like, it's got the Leica look or whatever.
Right. That has the pen look.
It has its own look. And I think anybody with some history with Olympus cameras who's used one of these will know what I'm talking about. There's something there's just something in those files. It's like the old Olympus E500 DSLR. Granted, that had a Kodak sensor in it. The colors in that were just like, whoa. There hasn't been a camera like that from Olympus since they had that color science in it. And I feel like this is it. So I kind of hate to let it go, but I literally had to spend some time dusting this thing off in order to do this giveaway. So that shows you that it's just been sitting, and it's a shame that it should sit for so long. And normally this camera comes with, it looks like this. There's no viewfinder. But when I got this from Olympus, I made sure to request this. So this is a digital electronic viewfinder. This was something that slips into this accessory port and then into the hot shoe like that. And what I liked about this when it was out at the time, and still like it, it's kind of a cool feature, is that this viewfinder flips up. So it's kind of cool to just have it down at waist level, looking down inside of there shooting.
Like a Nikon.
It's like an old Rolleiflex or something. Yeah. You know? I mean, granted, it's not.
I think the F3 does that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fun. I really like this camera a lot. And
I want to win that.
Right. But the thing is like, I really don't have any Olympus lenses that honestly, I'll just admit it, that I didn't want to just give away for free. You know what I mean? I've gotten to the point with my Olympus lineup that all the lenses that I think I want and will use, I'm keeping those. I think I have one or two lenses that I'll probably part with, and that's it. But then I started thinking, what would be fun to give away with this camera is a Lens Baby lens. Yeah. So chances are this camera is going to be won by someone who already has a camera or maybe two cameras. And I know this won't be a primary shooter for anyone. This will end up being like a fun camera, just something you throw in the bag or throw in. Well,
street camera.
Yeah, just a easy walk around. Like it's just a fun project camera, So this is the lens that's on this is the Trio. And if you're familiar with any of Lens Baby's products, they make some really cool stuff. It's really different, So you might have seen the Composer from Lens Baby. You can kind of shift around your focal plane on that. Well, the Trio is very different because it's actually like three lenses in one. So
that's the one I played with.
Yeah, it's fun. It's manual focus. So, keep that in mind, folks. You can set a button on this camera, one of your function buttons, to magnify. There's actually a magnify button on the back right here already set up. So that'll help you with focusing because it is manual, but it is a 28 millimeter fixed focal length, f3.5, and that is fixed as well. You can't change aperture, you can't change focal length, but it has three different, we'll say, optics built into this. So the first one is called Twist, and it's kind of what it sounds like. It almost has like this like a twist to the bokeh a little bit. And I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm trying to remember the brass lens that came out that everybody lusted after for their DSLRs back in the day.
Man, what was that?
I can't remember what it was called. Good grief. But it sort of gives that same look. So that's one of the optics. And then you rotate this optic around. And then the next one is the Velvet. Excuse me. And the Velvet just has this like softer kind of a feel to it. It kind of it's a little more of a dreamy look. Sharp in the center, but definitely softer. Petsfall. Thank you, Dwayne. Yes, the Petsfall lenses. I still want one. They don't make a Sony E-mount for that. And I think those lenses do best on a full frame, at least for that wild effect, but I digress. So that you've got the Twist, you've got the Velvet, and let me pull it back up. And then you've got the Sweet. And the Sweet it's the sharpest of all three of those options. That would be probably something you're probably more familiar with using, but it's a super fun lens. It's got a focal scale on it, so you can kind of set your hyperfocal distance and just set it and forget it and just run and gun with it. But I thought that this would make like a fun giveaway camera. It'll come with a battery. I'll have to dig and see if I still have a charger for those batteries. I'm honestly not certain if I still do. I probably do. But it does have a built-in flash, which is kind of cool to have that as well. But it's a fun little camera. And I think that I've wanted to give away something fun, and I think this will do it. And I hope that whoever wins it does something with it, you know, makes it like a project camera for them, you know, like they dedicate it to doing, you know, once they get past the initial learning it and having fun with it, maybe they dedicate it to doing like a series of photos with it. I'd love to see something like that come out of this camera. Kind of how I treat my Pen F, you know, it's dedicated to just prime lenses, or my Fuji is dedicated to strictly black and white, strictly low number of shots per card kind of a thing. I'm hoping that's what this does, is ends up being a motivator or an inspirational tool for something to do. So
there you go.
That's one of the things. Another thing that's not here that I will also just mention is I'm going to throw in a leather wrist strap for it. I'm going to make a leather wrist strap because
I like mine.
Something that I started doing is making some leather craft. So I'll throw in a one-of-a-kind Jamie McDonald original leather wrist strap to go with the camera.
John said, can you set it to mono?
Yeah, for sure. You definitely can set this to mono. It's got the art filters in it as well, so it wasn't so old that it didn't have art filters. So you can work with either, you know, the monotone art filter that's built in, or you could just set the color profile to mono, which would be, again, a super fun project. Maybe just make this your black and white camera and run with it, you know, or adapt some old vintage lenses to it, which was always my my favorite thing to do with all of the pen line, was throw like some old lenses on them. But yeah, so that's what it's going to be. So whoever picks that killer spot that we're going to go to, shares that super, I don't know, award-winning photo of the location we're going to end up at when we all meet there. I'll be handing you a new camera, new lens, new wrist strap, and maybe something else too. I'm working on that. How much would I charge for a wrist strap? I don't know. It's a good question. Probably not a lot. Probably like, we'll talk about it later or something, but probably like $20 or $25 or something like that. So yeah, so that's the prize, folks. And I know we talked about, I don't remember what the date was we had set up. It was like the end of this month. It was supposed to be the beginning of next month. I'll be on vacation next week, and we're not doing a show next week anyways. The following week, I'm hoping to do a show on our normal Thursday night, but I will be traveling for work. Tammy says she's not seeing the chat. I don't know why.
What, Tammy?
You're not seeing a chat. Other people are seeing the chat. Gosh, I hope YouTube didn't do that thing where they like ended our stream on us. We had that happen once.
Oh, well, it says it's still going.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they cut us loose.
It was blaming it on Jerry.
Jerry's bad mouth.
But later, like I said, so I'll be gone next week. We're not doing a show next week anyways, but the following week I'm traveling for work for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And Thursday I'll be in office playing catch up on a lot of stuff. So it'll be a tight squeeze, but I'm going to try and shoot when I'm out of state for work 2 weeks from now. So hopefully I have some photos to share and hopefully an answer on what the other accompanying gift will be for the winner of that. So we'll probably announce the winner on that show. So you've got a few more weeks left to submit a location for the show, or the meetup. It's been a long week. Been a long couple of weeks for me. I'm not done yet. So
I got a question for everybody watching.
Ooh, Jerry's got a question.
And this goes back to what we were talking about the other day. How many of you, does anybody in here watch TikTok? We'd like to know, because we were kicking around the idea of maybe streaming on TikTok, since that's kind of what's popular right now.
For sure.
And we threw that idea around a little bit, and maybe we'll jump over there and do something.
So we've got a couple of yeses, a rarely. Anybody else? Bueller.
The boss.
Anybody? John Thomas says no.
Well, John, you're not on there dancing, man. Come on.
Tammy says photography TikTok is amazing. Yeah, there's so many talented people in the world out there, and I'm so happy for TikTok because it gives everybody a platform to to show their talent. There's a lot of idiots out there. I mean, we get to see all those people too.
It's crazy, man.
So
I go down the rabbit hole on there some nights. I'm like, I can't believe I just wasted that much of my time.
Admittedly, I don't think I've opened my TikTok app maybe once in like the last couple of weeks, but I'm
on that thing every day. Any chance I get a break, I'm on there looking at dumb shit.
So Dwayne and Steve both said no. As long as you don't venture off photo TikTok, it's good. Yeah. So to answer Donna's question, they have a photography one. No, not specifically, but if you start finding photographers on there, those people are amazing.
There's some good ones. I mean, I think I'm not gonna say. I follow a few photographers. One of these girls I follow, she does self portraits in her living room.
Yeah.
She builds sets. Got pretty cool stuff.
Yep. Again, there's a lot of talented people out there. It's cool that everybody gets a platform now. But yeah, so again, like Jerry said, something we kicked around, streaming this to TikTok, maybe doing it live on TikTok as well. Got to do some digging.
We got to build that fan base.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we need a little more followership out there. I mean, we're thankful for you guys. Definitely. It's cool to see some regulars in here.
For sure. I mean, honestly, I look forward to that. Seeing, you know, John's going to be here. You know, Dwayne's going to be here.
Yep.
Shelly will be here every week. You know what I mean? It's cool to see them guys every week or every 2 weeks when we come in.
We need to get you all to proselytize for us. We need to get you to spread the word.
We need to get you guys some badges.
Yeah.
What do they do in them Facebook groups? You guys earn a badge.
Right. Yep. We won't call you a super fan, I promise. That was kind of a cheesy badge that Olympus pulled out for some of the people. I mean, I get it. It was kind of hard to figure out a way to, award people or what have you for their awesomeness, but still, we don't call you a super fan. It's, part of the Super Kids Club.
Right.
Let's see. So Tammy says TikTok's implementing 10-minute videos here soon for everyone.
10-minute? Wow.
But the rub here is that in order for us to be able to go live on there, I think we have to have 1,000 followers.
Yeah.
On TikTok. So we'll end up getting a TikTok account set up somehow for this, and we'll start sharing some of our content there and maybe hopefully reach out.
Yeah, we can do that, or we can just go live on our own, and because you can do like we're doing right now. You can
bring somebody in.
You can split screen. So,
yeah.
But you're right. It would be cool.
It'd be better to have it under a brand versus an individual.
Right.
For sure.
But yeah, that way we can bring other TikTokers into the chat as well.
Right. Be super cool. So some other things to talk about tonight. I want to talk about what I'm working on to be my next purchase. Jerry has a purchase that he made recently he can talk about.
You need to show you the big purchase in the room. Those patches.
Dude.
Those are cool. Them are cool.
All right, hold on here. Let me do this.
Just because I'm sure. Whoa.
Now I can get up and walk away.
He's in his underwear, folks. He has just a shirt on, some sandals. So his feet don't get wet. And the reason I bring the patches up is because I know probably some of you guys have been to some of these places. So I think it's cool for everybody to see these.
So I disconnected my headphones, so I didn't hear what you were saying. You better not have been talking smack, Jay.
No, I was just saying that I brought up the patches because I think it's really cool, and I'm pretty sure people who take pictures go to these places,
So I'm starting to adorn my bag with all the national parks that I've been to with patches, so kind of fun. So here's where I've been so far. I've been to a few other ones, but they're like smaller, like, I don't know. Some of them are like not necessarily a national park, but like a national lakeshore, like Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore, Sleeping Bear. I don't know. Sleeping Bear National Park?
Yep.
Is it? I'll have to see if they have a patch. I'll be in
That
Florida
one-
next week,
that
so
one
I'm
too.
hoping to.
There's a couple down there.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might.
Everglades.
Yeah, thinking I might ditch my kids for an afternoon and run through the Everglades and get some birding in. And yeah, Dwayne, you're right. I am for sure headed to the Badlands. I promised Shelly a trip to the Badlands in my Badlands Bronco. So I'm going to get a Badlands patch. I still have to get, I want to get Glacier on there as well.
What up, Jay?
Jason's in the house. Yeah, so I'm going to start collecting those patches. That's
I got my
new
Badlands patch in my wish list. I just got to order it. I've been there, so
there you go.
I earned that one.
Yeah, I went to Kansas last year storm chasing. I don't know if I'm sure there's a national park in Kansas, but it wasn't something I would have stopped at for sure. It was a race to catch the weather, which that's on my list again for this year too. Kansas, Eastern Colorado, just depending on where the storms happen. So yeah, that's my new thing. That's not my big purchase though. That's just a new thing I'm doing.
One, man. I liked it.
So my big purchase coming up, hopefully, if things work out good for me. I'm looking at the new Mac Studio.
Ooh.
So I'm curious if anybody in the chat room is eyeballing that, if you're a Mac user out there. And with that being said, if anybody's looking to buy a fully spec'd out 27-inch i9 Core i9 iMac, I'll be selling mine just to help offset some of the costs of that. Oh, God. I hope you're right, Tammy. I'm hoping the weather is bonkers because I'm dying to get out west and storm chase again.
Gonna be like that commercial I sent you, that
Not
Chevy
Papa
truck.
Big Bucks. Not Papa Big Bucks. I need to sell something to offset some costs. So, how much? Probably $900. I think I spent $3,500 on it, spec'd out. So, anyways, yeah. So that's my big purchase. Jerry, talk about yours. Do you have your purchase close by?
He's like,
Can you
quick,
show your
before
purchase?
I buy more stuff.
Right.
I picked up what was it, two weeks
Almost
ago?
More than 2 weeks ago, man.
No, man.
Dude, I was in Utah last week, and it was probably, what was it, the week before?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's been 2 weeks.
About 2 weeks. Anyway, I picked up the Sony A7 IV, and I haven't had it outside to shoot it yet. I mean, I spent a few hours on it indoors and customizing all the buttons and getting everything where I wanted it. And
we hung out with Jerry for a few hours the day he picked it up. I had to go get a camera out or a battery out of my bag and make him turn it on just so he could see the damn thing.
Yeah. So that's my recent purchase. I mean, I'm excited for it. I'm coming from a camera that's 4, 5, 6 years older, maybe.
Yeah, the A7 R2.
R2. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a big upgrade for me.
Yeah, it's a huge upgrade for sure.
If you're coming from a A7 III, yeah, maybe not the upgrade you.
I don't know.
You have to have.
It's got some stuff I want. That's for sure.
The articulating screen is nice. Being able to close down the sensor and keep the dust off of it when switching lens is nice.
Wait, hold on. I'm going back through the chat here. I just noticed something. What do you mean I bought you a Bronco? Did you buy a Bronco? I saw you saying you missed your Jeep. Sorry, I got totally sidetracked by that. No, I wish I would have waited and not got the A7 R3 and gotten the 4. Because I think that's like the sweet spot.
Yeah, but you got a 3 though.
But yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
Damn it, I'm falling victim to that whole I want the next thing.
That's why I stopped buying cameras, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm done.
I had to replace my R2. That thing was starting to give me error messages. I almost had to cancel a couple shoots.
Yeah.
In the fall because the camera kept messing up, and I was like, oh man, I kept having to shut the camera off, pop the battery out in the middle of my shoot, and
yeah, you can't have that.
One of them I was almost ready to tell them we're gonna have to reschedule, but I got through it. So
yeah.
So I was like, yep, before I get into that again, time to buy a new one.
Yeah. I get it. So Tammy asked if I'm still shooting with Olympus. Yeah, I'm not going to get rid of my Olympus kit. I have talked about it, excuse me, before on the show a little bit. I've always felt like this about equipment. It's just that because I was tied to Olympus, I didn't do this, but I feel like these are all tools, and for the longest time I was only allowed to play with this brand of tools. And I think that there are some tools that are better suited for specific tasks than other ones. For me, because now I'm fortunate enough to be able to play with a lot of different tools and have been lucky enough to be able to buy into more than one system. I now have this luxury of saying my Olympus is going to be inclement weather. It's going to be very specific use cases where Olympus tech makes all the difference in the world. So for storms, I'll always bring a Sony just because I've got I like that aspect ratio on the Sony. It's wider. So if I throw the 14 millimeter on it, even though the 7 to 14 is 7, the 7 is really, 14 millimeter full frame equivalent. It's different though, because Olympus's aspect ratio is taller. So the 14 millimeter on the Sony, the 14 millimeter on the Sony is super wide looking versus 14 millimeter on Sony's wide versus the 7 millimeter on Olympus is kind of squished in a bit.
It's more square.
So Olympus for me is going to be storms, using live composite for nighttime lightning, using pro capture for daytime lightning, because the only way to do it on any other camera is either a $400 or $500 lightning trigger, which is wishy-washy, or doing a time lapse and having a million frames to sift through. So Olympus is storms, inclement weather, some astro, where if I want to do the long star trails and I don't want to stack 1,000 images to get that look, I'll use the Olympus for that. So live composite, pro capture, bad weather. The Pen F is it's my travel camera. It's my, it's my fun project camera, with just some primes on it. I've kind of whittled myself back down to the smaller primes. So the 17 millimeter, 1.8 and the 12 millimeter F2.
I got one lens for my pen.
Yep.
17.
So I'm not out of the Olympus game completely. There'll be a chance or opportunities too for wildlife with it, where if I don't want to lug, and when I say lug, I mean lug the Sony in that 200 to 600 millimeter, that's a fucking big lens.
You haven't seen my 500 yet, have you?
No, you got the Tamron, right?
Yeah.
It's probably
hold on,
the size, right? Yeah. So not done with Olympus. Not done with that little Fuji I've got, because it's a project camera, I guess you could say. It's just I've been having a long honeymoon with the Sony, just trying to figure it all out and get the best results I can with it, but they're just tools. So Donna asked okay, dude, here, hold on. Here. Let me show you how much bigger mine is than yours.
I mean, look at that. It's
big. Let me plug my ears back in so I can hear the smack you're talking.
I didn't say nothing, man.
Yeah, and yours probably weighs
it's
less than half of what mine does.
Yeah.
I mean, now granted, I will say I look super professional with this big giant honking freaking lens out there. But yeah, I'm getting used to wielding a big heavy lens now. But yeah.
You do. I mean, yours is 100 more millimeters, but hey,
yeah,
it's not the length that
matters. Is it the girth? Well, this show's definitely getting an R rating after this one.
We're practicing for TikTok, man.
Yeah. So Donna asked, so you're not going to see a lightning trigger on the Olympus site. It's going to be a third party thing. And you don't need a lightning trigger with Olympus anyways. If you have live composite at night or in the evening, just use live composite. If it's during the daytime, if you've got, let me think, when did Pro Capture come out? EM1 Mark II. I think if you have the EM1 Mark II onward, then you have Pro Capture, and you can use that to capture lightning during the daytime. So if you got questions about that, just reach out. I'll explain how that works. And Tammy asked if I'm going for the OM1. No, I am not. And my reasoning is that from an image quality standpoint, I've seen so many different reviews. If you watch a review from someone who's got skin in the game, like a review site or an ambassador, they're obviously going to give you the best possible review, and I've seen other people that are talking about that the results aren't that different visually. Tracking, yes, for sure. Tracking is supposed to be light years better, but I don't have a problem with the EM1X. I mean, I've gotten so many bird photos with that, birds in flight, the bigger birds, raptors, with no problem with the M1X. I think the majority of all of that comes down to your technique. And some people just have a better technique or a better understanding of what the camera can do, and they work with what the camera's capabilities are, and they get good results. And other people don't ever find that. They don't click with it as well, so they struggle. So I don't feel like I have a need to get outside of the EM1X. All these size jokes. Oh boy. Trying to move past those. So Tammy says she shoots a ton of birds. Says she does have her EM1X, but that's why you got the OM1. I get it, and like I said, I hear the tracking is supposed to be a lot better, but just as long as you don't use continuous autofocus tracking, I guess. Some reviewers have said Olympus even told them flat out, continuous autofocus is great. If you use the tracking, it's still not comparable with other people. And so let's take that for what it is. And this is what I think. So if you use continuous autofocus, if you're good at tracking the bird yourself, then it's going to be great. But and I think that's probably why I had good luck with the continuous autofocus track, because I use continuous autofocus tracking on the EM1X shooting birds. But I think I have a pretty good method for following the bird. So my tracking box doesn't ever jump off of the bird. And I found that for me, the best results are you keep all of your focus points active, turn on continuous autofocus tracking, but you're really only, in my opinion, using, if you cut off like a quarter off of the left side of the frame, a quarter off of the right side of the frame, and just use that center, 50% that's left in the middle, and don't let the bird get outside of that window. It'll stay on with tracking. Once you start to get to the edges of the frame, the tracking just goes nuts, at least in my experience. So that's, like I said, and it's not like I go birding all the time, and I shoot bigger birds. So your mileage may vary. And I've got birds to share in my pictures today. Yay. I did birds a couple weeks ago. Actually, the day we met up with Jerry when he got his A7 IV.
That I haven't used.
That he hasn't used. What's up with that?
I did.
You're killing me, Smalls. You didn't take anything with your phone?
No. I took some pictures of some food and some beers.
That works. Yeah, I take pictures. I take pictures of food all the time.
I do too.
All the time.
Yeah.
I'm at I think 7 or 9 million views on my photos on Google Photos, because I leave them if I've been to a restaurant and I snap a photo.
Right, yeah. I keep forgetting to do that. I should do that more. Let's see what you got, man. Let's see your pictures.
All right, I'll answer one more question. So the lens I like best for bird photography, 300 millimeter f4. It's the one I like. All right, I'll share some pictures. Kind of getting a little wound up here. Oh my gosh. Hold on. My computer, for some reason, I must have had an update. Oh, hold on. It's asking me for permission to access my folders. So weird. Google Chrome. There we go. Oh my God, it wants me to quit and reopen. Let me see if it lets me share it anyways. All right, hey, I'll be right back, Jerry. Don't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, I wonder if I leave if it kills the show.
I think it
shouldn't 'cause you're
does.
in it. Really?
I don't know. You started it. You can try to come back. If not, it would be me and the people.
Freaking! I don't know why Chrome lost the ability to share my screen. I think if I don't end the broadcast, you know what I can do? I'm going to watch this.
Now, what is the difference between one that goes up to 300 and the 300? Typically, when you get a fixed focal length, you will get a faster lens. Granted, the 300 is an f4 versus, say, like my 150 to 500 is a 5.6 to 6.3. So it's a variable aperture.
Yep, that and
it's basically a long prime is what it is.
Yeah, I think that also this is gonna get funky. Oh boy, I'm probably gonna get feedback. I think also the lenses are less. There are less elements in them, so there's less. So optically, they're better.
Right.
Oh, hey.
Whoa. What the heck?
All right,
Shelly's like, oh my God.
So I muted my mic. Is it echoey?
No.
It is in my headphones. Whoa. All right, hold on. Let me do this here.
Gonna be 3 of them. Hey, you should sing the Island Boys song right now, man.
Do what? Oh, the Island Boys?
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
What camera is that? I'm gonna do that. I want multiple cameras.
Oh, I could. So hold on. I'm here.
You gotta look straight, then you gotta go like this, and then you gotta look at the other. Take it from me.
Hold on here. I can't believe I have to jump through all these hoops just to share a picture. All right. It's funny because I had to give it permission in Firefox too. So I'll be right back. I'm still here. I didn't go anywhere.
Well, one of them will be back, maybe.
Yeah, hold on here. So, oh my God. I have a webcam in my iMac. I've got one in my secondary display, and then I've got my camera. I could be here 3 times. 3 of me. How horrible would that be? So let's see.
Dwayne.
What did he say?
I'm just
a Sony. Oh my God, love it. All right, so add myself to the stream, mute myself. I gotta love technology. Let's see.
Why is it so quiet in here?
I don't know.
What the heck?
What's it doing?
Now I see Jamie 3.0 just popped up in the.
There. How about that? So I'm assuming you can see it.
We see it.
All right. So, oh my God, this echo in my headphones is killing me. All right. So the day we met up with Jerry, I was up there looking for bald eagles because there has been a ton of them near Lake Michigan on the Grand River. So this is with the Sony A7 R3 with the 200 to 600 millimeter Sony. And I've been having a lot of luck with that combo as far as shooting birds. Tracking works really good, but I think a lot of it might just be the technique I developed with Olympus. I think it helps with any other camera system. So dig in that. And let's see if I can get to the next image. Just another shot too, as well. Juvenile bald eagle, probably year and a half old, maybe less.
Look, he's
I
flipping
don't
you
know.
off.
Yeah, so most of the shots, they were super far away, but this juvenile just kind of buzzed us almost right overhead. Obviously, you can tell from the angle of this shot. So the Sony did a good job of tracking it as it was coming towards me. And then he just did a couple of passes over us. So these are really the only two shots I got that I liked, but super happy with the results. He's crispy. I like that. And then the next one. So I mentioned that I was in Utah for work the other week, and one of my coworkers had never seen what I call real mountains. He's seen the Smokies, I think. But I told him I'd drive him up to the ski resort that I've been to a few times out there to snowboard at. So we drove up, and there's a couple of spots you can pull off and look back down into the valley there. And it was just really overcast because they have this inversion layer that comes in. So it just kind of traps all the moisture and the clouds at a really low level. So it looks hazy, kind of like LA does. So I figured it looks best done in a black and white treatment. And this is, again, Sony, and this is the 28-75. So another example of why a telephoto works good with landscape. Honestly, I wish I would have taken the 75 or 70-180 with me also. I would have had a lot better time with some of the opportunities I had if I had more reach. But I just packed the 17-28 and 28-75 because those fit in a really small messenger bag. And this was day one of that work trip. So we got there, got to the hotel, checked in, and the first thing I did is said, "Hey, I'm taking the car." And I asked my coworker if he wanted to go for a ride. So we zipped up into the mountains. And that was only probably 15-20 minutes from our hotel. So it was really close and easy to do. The next shot, I got up super early. We were supposed to have a really busy day that day, and I stayed on our time zone schedule. So Utah is 2 hours time difference from us. And so I was up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And from where we were staying in Draper, which is a suburb of Salt Lake, it's kind of up towards the mountains. We could see this Mormon temple up on the hillside. And I decided that I wanted to go shoot it, but I didn't want to shoot it during the day because we had seen it on the first night. We seen it all lit up from about 10 or 12 miles away. And I figured it might be a cool spot to go visit. So I rolled up there at like 4:30 in the morning. And there were people actually showing up there at 4:30 to go do whatever they do at a church at 4:30 in the morning. I have no idea, but I waited because I watched this older lady park her car, get all her stuff out. She got a little bag out, and I waited for her to start walking into the building so I could frame her up in the shot. And I was hoping that she would stay like either left or right of that center divider between the two doors. And kind of as she got towards the light there, she shifted a little bit over the right for just a second. So I at least got one shot where you can tell that there's a person in it. But this is shot with the 17-28. And it's not at 17 millimeters. I think this is shot somewhere in the middle there. So it's probably like 20 or 22 or something like that. Handheld. This is shot because it was so bright because it's a white building. I could shoot at a little bit lower ISO, but this is still, I think, like ISO 1600. And again, I talked about tools earlier and where some cameras excel versus others. At 1600, this is like super freaking clean. I know I couldn't get this clean of a shot with the Olympus cameras and still have detail. You can clean it up, but it softens, and you don't tend to see that with the full frame sensor. So again, tool for the job. And this is inside the Mormon Tabernacle church. It's where the Mormon cap. Oh my God, I can't even talk because there's an echo in my ear. This is where the Mormon Tabernacle Choir first started performing. And this is a really unique building because from the outside, which I don't have a picture to share tonight, it looks semi-dome shaped. And that's because when they built it, there was no one there that knew how to build a dome. They knew how to build bridges. So this building was basically constructed as a bridge until you get down to that very end where the pipe organ is at. And they could do like a semi-dome to finish it. So it's basically a super wide bridge with semi-domes at the end of it. And this is, if I remember what the girl said, I think the largest pipe organ in the world, or at least it has the most pipes of any pipe organ in the world. It's like some absurd number, like 10,000 or something like that. And what you can see in the photograph is not even close to all of the pipes. There are a ton of them like distributed throughout this building here. But again, no, it looks all janky sharing it on the screen. Damn it. But anyway, so handheld shot, single exposure. And this is one of those ones where just quickly to edit it, I put it in Lightroom and I just hit auto and let it jack up the exposure and the shadows and the saturation. And I kind of like the way it turned out just like that. I really didn't have to do anything to it. I did do a perspective correction on it to kind of help alleviate some of that, distortion that you'd get from shooting ultra wide in an enclosed space. But it was really cool building. And the next shot again, so the mountain range there is the Wasatch Mountains. And I'll just tell a little story about going there. So this was on our last night. My two coworkers went and seen the Utah Jazz play. And if they watch this or listen to this, they'll find out just how shady I am. They were going to take the car down and watch the Jazz play. And then I jumped online really quick to see what the public transportation is like and found that there's this cool rail system there. And my boss had known that there was a rail system there and he had expressed interest in just taking a ride on it just to see what it was like. But I really pushed them hard to take that to go to the game so that I could take the car and go driving around and shoot. So I went back to, it's just a pull off that I knew of that's on the way up to the ski resorts. And I got there just in time as the sun was starting to set a little bit. So I was firing off some shots and there was a guy in the foreground of this down low. He was eating out of the back of his truck. He had a little jet fuel or whatever you call it.
Jet boil.
He had a jet boil on his tailgate and he was cooking up some stew and eating. He was decked out in all his ski gear and he hollered over. He says, "Hey, am I in your shot?" I said, "No, you're good, man. Just go ahead and do your thing. I'm just going to snap a few shots." And he walked over and we started talking. Come to find out he's drove from California, just he'd been wanting to come to Utah forever to ski. And we just started talking. It was a great conversation just to hear his story about what brought him to Utah. We talked about, ski life. And I had talked about how I took my first real trip snowboarding in the mountains here to the same resort he had just come down from. And it was just a fun conversation. He was looking at the back of the camera to see what I was shooting. And it's just cool. I like how photography gives you this gateway to connect with so many people, but it was cool because he was pointing out the light that was hitting these, jagged edges as I was taking the photos, and I turned the camera and showed him. He goes, "Oh, that's awesome, man. I was wondering if that's what you were taking pictures of." So really cool experience. And this is again where I might have done some different things with more reach. So this is shot with the 28 to 75, but then cropped in a fair amount, just to get this look more frame filling. And this was driving back down from photographing that. And as I'm coming down from the mountains, it's so congested there. Utah, especially around Salt Lake, is going through this like massive boom. There's so much construction and building going on. And it's hard to find an open view of anything without a house or a building or something in it. So as I'm coming down, I can see this light pillar coming up from behind the mountains on the other side of the valley.
That's a cool shot, man.
Dude, I was bitching and bitching. And
were you in the car when you took that? You took it from the driver's seat?
I literally stopped in the middle of the road and fired off like 4 or 5 shots to get this. Like so the person on the right up ahead of me, like the minivan with the taillights facing us, they drove by flipping me off. They were pissed because they had to go around me. And I'm like, fuck it. I don't care. I want this shot. Because I liked this American flag on the left was every once in a while the wind would catch it and it would snap open and it was, backlit from the sun. And it was just, if I could have just put my hazards on and sat there for 10 minutes and just watched the sunset, I would have, but I was pissing people off. But I did pop a couple of shots right through the windshield, and this is again 28-75. This could have been so much cooler with a longer lens. If I would have had, honestly, if I would have had like that 200-600, I would have put the hazards on, got out in front of the car, laid down in the road and shot lower with a longer focal length and just made an even more insane photo. But I worked with what I had really quick. So I just used the easiest settings I could. So it was at f2.8 auto ISO, and it's probably like ISO 800 or 1600. I mean, you can tell it's kind of dark with all the headlights on and all the street lights are coming on, but it was cool. I had to stop. I didn't care what anybody said.
Oh, I would have too.
I would have paid a ticket if I had to. So last shot. So this is something else to talk about here too. So this isn't my photo. It's my girlfriend Shelly's son, Jarrett. He's a big Spider-Man fan, obviously. So he got this like really high-end costume, and she did a portrait shoot with him. And I was telling her about the software that I'm trialing right now. It's called Boris Effects Optics. And it's something that's actually used in Hollywood quite a bit to add effects to still images. And there's also a plugin for it to add the effects to video. But I watched a couple of their videos online and thought, I'd give it a shot and play with it. So when I was telling Shelly about it and showing her like a couple of things that I did tinkering with it, she sent me a couple of her shots that she took of her son. So, and this isn't like the greatest edit, but it only took me like 3 or 4 minutes to add some fun effects to it. And like I said, I know this is kind of cheesy looking, but the tools make the ability to do something like this super quick and super easy to mask out, your subject where you don't want the effects applied. And it comes with like thousands of presets and stuff with it. So it's fun. There. Now it's just me. No echo. Oh my God. You know how hard it is to talk?
Yep.
When you can hear yourself echoing. It's painful. Let me get rid of Firefox here. There we go. Much better. So anyways, that Boris Effect software, you can just Google it and check them out. You get you can download the trial of it, use it for 15 days. There's no watermark on the trial, and just have a look at it. You can pay for it monthly, which I'm not trying to do that. Or you can do it like a standalone license. I think it's $149 for like a perpetual license. I wish I had more time to dig into it deeper, because I think it's something I might want to use. Again, the photo that I showed was more of a like whatever, like wild, but there's a lot of really cool subtle effects, from lens flares, and you can put in like a fake gobo, to add texture, like light texture and things like that. A lot of particle effects like smoke, rain, snow, just a lot of neat stuff. I think it might be something I end up looking at down the road, but yeah, just kind of wanted to share that. It's neat stuff. And I'm trying to get into doing stuff a little more. I want to do more like creative stuff. I mean, shooting landscapes is fun. I love it. I think, honestly, I love just being there more than I do taking the pictures. But I still want to create stuff. So I'm thinking I might look at doing some stuff like that with Boris effects, compositing and making stuff. And I know Jerry was talking about wanting to do stuff like that a while ago. And yeah. You can talk if you want.
I thought somebody was at my door.
Oh,
It sounded like somebody was beating on my door.
it's the police.
Right. What are you guys doing down there?
But anyways, yeah. That's what I've been up to. And then I'll do Florida next week, and I got to find something to shoot down there.
Nice.
Or not. Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't take any pictures.
Maybe you take your metal detector and find some treasure.
Or I rent one.
Or that.
I could rent one. Drive down to the Treasure Coast.
There you go.
Half hour, 45 minutes away.
Find a big old gold chain and buy all the cameras you want.
Yeah, from the OG Flava Flav from 1684.
Right.
But yeah, that's all I got. So you got anything, Jerry? Anything you want?
I'm good, man. I don't have no pictures this week.
Yeah.
So maybe next time.
All right.
Next time for sure. I got to get out and shoot this weekend.
Yeah, I hear you. So I guess with that said, this is the giveaway. One of the items, and like I said, custom leather camera strap will come with it, wrist strap, and trying to work with. I'll just tell you, I'm trying to work with Vanguard to see what we can come up with to put this camera in as part of the giveaway. So a couple of more weeks, we'll announce a winner and where the location is.
That's right. Get them photos in there.
And then we'll all meet up in the real world, in real life,
right.
Or as the kids say, IRL.
Or they say we're built different.
Yeah. Flesh space. Instead of cyberspace, it's flesh space.
All right. We'll see you guys in the metaverse. All right.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. Thanks again for tuning in. And thanks for those of you who are listening. I always feel bad for those that listen. You're missing out on fun photos and definitely some characters.
They know where we're at. They need to get over here.
For sure. So we see you guys in a couple of weeks. Take care.
Peace.